You spent 2 hours learning the word articulate. You practiced it, Googled it, whispered it like a secret spell. You even imagined using it in a future job interview. But when someone asked, "How are you?" you just smiled and said, "Good." Or worse, you froze. Welcome back to Monday English Podcast, the show where we stop pretending, roast your excuses, and actually help you speak better English. Today's episode, how to sound smart without sounding fake. Because let's be honest, half of you are walking around like ChatGPT with stage fright. You know the fancy words. You just don't know how to use them without sounding like a confused robot. You've been copying phrases from TED Talks, mixing them with textbook grammar, and hoping for the best. But somehow, you still can't explain why you were late to class without sounding like a broken navigation app. Your brain's in a tuxedo. Your mouth? It's wearing pajamas and mumbling into a pillow. If you've ever said furthermore in a text message, this episode is for you. Here's what we're hitting today. First, big words, small impact. Why simple is smarter. Then, confidence complexity, because your tone matters more than your vocabulary. And finally, shut up to sound smarter. Yes, you talk too much. I said it. So let's fix it. Let's take that fake smart English and turn it into something real. Something you can actually use. And if you're thinking, but I don't want to sound stupid, congrats, you already sound afraid. Time to move past that. Let's go. Segment 1 starts now. You want to sound smart in English. I get it. You hear someone use the word therefore, and suddenly you think, wow, that's what I need. That's the secret. So you start copying. You watch TED Talks. You open Google Translate. You look for the biggest, longest word possible and try to shove it into a sentence. Then someone asks you a simple question, like, what did you do yesterday? And your brain explodes. Instead of, I went to the market, you say, consequently, I proceeded to engage in grocery-related activity. And now you sound like a lost robot in a courtroom. Welcome to the club. Let me be clear. Big words are not bad. But using big words when you don't need them? That's just dressing up confusion. The smartest people in the world speak clearly. They don't try to impress with vocabulary. They try to connect. Smart does not mean complicated. Smart means clear, simple, and useful. Think of the word utilize. It means use. That's it. I utilize my phone every day? No. Just say, I use my phone every day. Same meaning. Less drama. And you won't sound like you copied your sentence from a science report. The problem is, many English learners think simple means stupid. You hear a word like help, and you think it's too easy. So you say assist instead. But here's the thing. Help is stronger. It's faster. It lands. Let's define those two words quickly. Assist means to help someone do something. For example, he assisted me with the homework. Sounds okay. But now hear this. He helped me with the homework. Feels better, right? More natural. That's the difference. Simple words often feel more alive. You don't need to sound like a professor. You need to sound like a person. Imagine this. You walk into a coffee shop. You see your friend. They say, how are you? You say, I am currently experiencing a relatively positive mental state. No. Just say, I'm good, thanks. Don't perform. Communicate. That's what smart English does. It gives people something they can feel, not just understand. Here's a new word for today. Pretentious. It means trying to sound important or smart in a fake way. Like saying commence when start is fine. For example, let us commence dinner. That's not smart. That's awkward. You don't need to talk like Shakespeare. You're not on stage. You're in real life. Talk like it. Let's pause for a second, because I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, but I want to sound professional. Sure, but sounding professional doesn't mean using every difficult word you find online. It means speaking clearly. It means using the right word, not the longest one. Real professionals speak simply. They explain things in a way everyone can understand. They're not trying to sound smart. They're trying to be understood. Here's the truth. Long words can hide your fear. You're not trying to sound smart. You're trying to hide the fact that you're nervous, that you don't feel ready, that you don't trust your own voice yet. So you throw in a moreover and hope no one notices you're lost. Guess what? We notice. If you sound like Google Translate and a thesaurus had a baby, we need to talk. Let's look at one more example. You want to say you're tired, but you don't want to sound boring. So instead of I'm tired, you say, I'm experiencing physical exhaustion. No, please, stop. Just say, I'm tired. That's enough. That's clear. That's human. You don't need extra words. You need better words. Words that actually work in a real conversation. Another new word, flex. It means to show off, like when someone uses a big word just to look smart. For example, he used the word synergize in a simple meeting. That was a flex. Don't flex. Speak. Speak in a way people understand and trust. That's real power. And yes, I know some of you love your big word lists. You collect them like rare coins. You memorize them, you test yourself, but then you never use them. Why? Because they don't fit. They don't feel right. You sound like a textbook, not a person. Remember this, a useful word is better than a difficult one. Always. So let's stop pretending that sounding smart means sounding complicated. It doesn't. It never did. The goal isn't to impress, it's to connect. If someone listens to you and feels confused, you didn't win. You failed. Harsh? Yes, but true. Here's your tiny action task for today. Choose 3 fancy words you often use. Replace them with simpler ones. Speak them out loud. Put them in a sentence. Feel the difference. Let your voice breathe. Because next, we're going deeper. Segment 2 is all about how you say things. Your tone, your pace, your rhythm. And why all the best words in the world won't help if your voice sounds like a sad phone signal. Let's go. So you survived the big words. You've stopped saying commence when start is fine. Good. But now let's deal with the next problem. You open your mouth and nothing sounds right. Not because your grammar is wrong, not because your words are bad, but because your voice sounds like a dying robot. Flat, awkward, scared. You try to sound smart, but it just feels fake. And people feel that. Confidence is not about perfect grammar. It's about believing your own words when you say them. Let's be honest. Some of you sound like you're reading from a textbook. Underwater. Every sentence is flat. No feeling. No music. Even if the words are correct, they feel wrong. Why? Because your voice doesn't trust itself. You're speaking like someone who's waiting for a test score, not like someone who's trying to connect. And guess what? People notice. They don't hear smart. They hear scripted. Like someone pressed play on an app. Here's the deal. How you say something matters more than the word itself. I'll prove it. Take this sentence. I don't know. Say it with a smile. Now say it with fear. Now with anger. Same sentence, different meaning. That's called tone. Your tone shows your mood, your confidence, your feelings. People understand your tone even when they don't catch every word. So you can say something simple and still sound smart if your tone is clear and honest. Let me give you a new word, robotic. It means speaking in a way that sounds fake or emotionless, like a robot. For example, he gave a robotic answer in the meeting. That's not a compliment. Nobody wants to talk to a robot. They want to hear a real voice, a voice with pauses, a voice that moves, a voice that sounds like a person thinking and feeling, not just reading. Think about this. Have you ever recorded your voice? I mean, really listened to it? Most people hate how they sound. They think, I sound so weird. But that's normal. That's not a sign you're bad at English. It's a sign you're not used to your voice. Yet. The more you hear yourself speak, the more control you'll get. You'll learn when your voice sounds tired, when it sounds bored, when it sounds strong. And once you learn that, you'll start to fix it. Now here's something important. You don't need to sound excited all the time. You don't need to smile in every sentence, but you do need to sound like you care. Like your voice wants to be heard. That's what smart speakers do. They don't try to sound perfect. They speak like their message matters. And when your voice shows that, people listen, even if your grammar isn't perfect. Let's try something now. Say the sentence. That's interesting. Say it once with energy, like you mean it. Now say it again, but bored, like you don't care. Which one feels smarter? The one with feeling. Always. A strong tone shows you know what you're saying. A weak tone says, I'm not sure, but please like me. No one wants to listen to that. You also need to understand the power of silence. Yes, silence. A short pause can do more than 10 words. It gives your listener time to think. It gives you time to think, and it makes your words feel more important. But what do most learners do instead? They panic. They fill every second with like, or you know. These are called filler words. They don't help. They hurt. They make your speech longer, messier, and less clear. Let's add a new word. Pace. It means how fast or slow you speak. For example, she has a slow speaking pace, or his pace was too fast to understand. Your pace controls your power. Speak too fast and people miss your point. Speak too slow and they fall asleep. But when you find the right pace, steady, natural, human, you sound confident, even smart. You want a trick? Record one sentence today. Just one. Something simple. Maybe I don't agree. Say it 5 times. First, tired. Then, polite. Then, curious. Then, bored. Then, confident. Listen back. Which version sounds strongest? That's the tone you want to build. You're not trying to act. You're trying to grow comfort. Confidence isn't loud. It's steady. It says, I know what I'm saying, and I don't need to shout. And now let's call out the classic excuse. I don't want to sound fake. Oh, please. Reading a script in your head doesn't make you sound natural. It makes you sound like a nervous intern trying to memorize a company slogan. Nobody believes it. So stop overthinking. Start adjusting your tone. That's how people believe you. Here's your tiny action task. Choose a short sentence like, I don't know. Say it 5 different ways. Angry, polite, curious, bored, confident. Then choose the best version and try it again. Use your voice like it matters. And now that your tone is warming up, it's time for the next step. Because sometimes the best way to sound smart is to say less. Let's talk about that in segment 3. Let's say you're in a meeting. Someone asks, what do you think? You know the answer. It's simple. But instead of saying it, you take a deep breath and start explaining like a tired professor on his 3rd coffee. 10 seconds in, no one knows what you're talking about. Even you. You tried to sound smart, but you lost the room. Why? Because you said too much. You gave a lecture when people just wanted a point. That's what we're fixing today. Welcome to the art of shutting up to sound smarter. The truth is, simple answers are powerful. I agree. I'm not sure. Let's try something else. These are short, clear, strong. You don't need to explain your whole thought process every time. You don't need to say 5 versions of the same idea. Less talking doesn't make you look weak. It makes you look confident. It says, I know what I mean, and I trust you'll get it. That's smart. Let me tell you a new word, ramble. It means to talk too much without a clear point. For example, he rambled during the meeting and no one understood. Don't be that guy. Don't ramble. Say what you mean. Then stop. Give space. Let your words land. You might think more words make you sound more professional, but often more words just make things worse. People get lost. They stop listening, Or worse, they smile and nod while secretly checking their phone. Don't give them that chance. Make your words count. You don't need more words. You need the right words. One reason people talk too much is fear. You're scared that your answer is too short or not deep enough. So you keep adding, explaining, repeating, but every extra word pulls attention away from your main point. Think of your message like a gift. If the box is too big, no one can find what's inside. Here's another word for today, concise. It means short but clear. For example, her message was concise and easy to understand. That's a compliment. That's the goal. You want to be concise, not vague, not slow, not confusing, just clear and strong. Now let's talk about fillers. You know them. You use them. Actually, basically. These are noise words. They fill time but add nothing. Most people use them without thinking. They're habits. But if you want to sound smart, you have to cut them. Fillers make your message longer and weaker. And when you use too many, people start counting how many times you say like instead of listening to what you mean. Want to know a better tool than fillers? Silence. Yes, silence. A short pause gives your listener time to think. It shows that you're thinking too. You don't need to speak every second. You just need to make the seconds you speak matter. Here's something else you can try. When someone asks you something, answer first. Then, if needed, add one example. Not 5, just 1. Stories help. Lectures don't. People remember stories. A small real-life example works better than a long, detailed explanation. You're not trying to prove you studied. You're trying to be understood. Let's learn another word, clutter. It means a messy mix of things, often too much. For example, his speech was full of clutter. In English speaking, clutter means extra words that hide your message. Your job is to clean up your sentences. Make them clean and clear. I know what you might say now. But I have so many ideas. Great, so do I. But guess what? If I try to say all of them at once, nobody hears any of them. You're not here to dump your brain. You're here to share a message. And sometimes the smartest person in the room is the one who says the least and says it best. Let's take an example. You want to say, I can't come today. But instead you say, I just wanted to let you know that unfortunately, due to some unexpected events, I might not be able to attend the meeting today as planned. Come on, that's 26 words. You needed 5. Keep it simple. I can't come today. It's clear. It's honest. It's enough. Now here's your sarcastic reality check. If you need 3 paragraphs to say, I'm busy, maybe you're not. Remember, confidence isn't loud. It isn't long. It's focused. It's clear. If someone asks you a question, give them an answer they can remember, not a speech they'll forget. Here's your tiny action task. Take one long sentence you use often. Rewrite it in 5 to 7 words. Say it again, but slower. Let each word breathe. You've cut the fluff. You've tuned your tone. Now it's time to talk about something harder. The real reason you still sound weird. Let's get honest in the next segment. You really thought adding moreover to a WhatsApp message would make you sound smarter? Cute. You're texting your friend about lunch, not writing a university paper. And don't get me started on therefore. If your sentence starts with therefore and ends with lol, I'm calling the police. Look, I get it. You want to sound smart. You want to impress someone, maybe your boss, maybe your crush, maybe your dog. But here's the truth. You don't sound smart. You sound scared. Scared of being too simple. Scared of not being enough. So you dress your sentences up like they're going to prom. But no one's buying it. They can hear the fear under all that fluff. The problem isn't your English. It's your pride. You think simple words make you look weak. So you overcompensate. You try to sound like someone you're not. You think people will respect your long sentences and big words. But you know what people actually respect? Honesty. Clarity. A voice that doesn't try so hard. That's what confidence sounds like. Real confidence isn't about knowing rare vocabulary. It's about being comfortable with what you know and still speaking up. Here's a hard truth. If your goal is to sound smart, but people think you're buffering, maybe it's time to simplify. Maybe it's time to stop playing this game. You don't need to sound like a CEO. You need to sound like someone who means it. Because nobody connects with a voice that feels fake. And no one trusts someone who talks like a dictionary having a breakdown. Let go of the idea that smart equals complicated. Smart means you say something, people get it, and it sticks. You don't need to say more. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to be real. And if being real feels risky, good. That means you're growing. Say something simple. Say it well. Then shut up. That's how real pros do it. Ready to actually use that power? Let's wrap it all up and show you how to speak like someone who knows and owns it. Keep going. You're almost there. So here we are. You made it to the end without saying furthermore in a text or in conclusion during lunch. Good. Let's look at what you've really learned. First, using big words doesn't make you smart. It makes you sound like a nervous search engine. If you say utilize when use works just fine, no one's clapping. People don't remember the longest words. They remember the clearest ones. And second, it's not just what you say. It's how you say it. Your voice matters. Your tone matters. If you say something with confidence, even a simple sentence feels strong. But if your voice sounds like you're asking for permission to breathe, no word will save you. And third, say less, really. You don't need to talk for 10 minutes to sound smart. Say what you mean, then stop. Smart people know when to stop. That's power. Still think you need to study more before you speak? That's your favorite excuse, right? Let me guess. You'll talk when you feel ready. You're waiting for some magic day when your English becomes perfect. Well, spoiler alert, that day is never coming. You don't get fluent by hiding behind long words or long sentences. You get fluent by showing up with what you have and using it every day, even when it's messy, even when it's short, especially when it's real. So here's what I want from you. Pick one fake fancy word you use too much. Delete it from your life. Replace it with a simple word that actually fits your mouth. Speak that word in a real sentence. Out loud. Just once. That's your first step. Don't skip it. If this episode gave you a push, even a small one, share it. Send it to a friend who still thinks saying, I am unable to attend sounds cooler than I can't come. And if that friend is you, even better. Re-listen. Practice. Show up again tomorrow. Monday English Podcast isn't going anywhere. We'll be here next week, tired as usual, but still throwing truth at your lazy grammar until it moves. Now go speak like someone who means it. You don't need permission. You just need to start.